I was riding around in his car that said Midas of Richmond, and I know that what he's doing with the money. People take money to him and say, here.
All right, let's get some other comments, questions. Yes, Nikki.
Mike, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. By the way, I'm sure there's some students you can find to be interns, so that's. So you talked about connections. You're a connector. What do you see when you talk to people, and you look at structural barriers to connecting? What have you found that are the biggest barriers to these connections happening? Because when connections happen, that's when real possibilities happen.
I just said to someone, is being in the room. The best thing in the world could happen when you're in the room. If you're outside, you're looking like a weirdo. The police are coming because you have to find somebody in bigger cities. I don't need to know your lineage and what church your grandmama went to. I don't need to know all that stuff. Can you deliver on the day that you can? Richmond, smaller towns, you got to join the Rotary. Somebody has to vouch for you. It took from 2014 to about 2019, 2020 before people were like, okay. So Lori Warren from the Raceway. I told her I banged on your door through 3 companies. When I got here, you would style weekly. Hey, my name is Mike King. No, you went to Virginia Business. Hey, my name is Mike King. Nothing. When you get to the Raceway, boom, the door opens. So it's understanding. People have to understand when you see somebody who's different than you. The gentleman right here, he meets a young man at the store, and he's like, this guy is good. And all of a sudden, what does he do? He puts him in position to win. He brings him into a room where people can change. As I said, everybody can say no. Everybody can say no. You go to a doctor's office, you see the sales rep in the corner, guy sitting there with donuts and baseball tickets. He's trying to pay off his way to the doctor.
So Mike, do you think that the barrier to Mickey's question has more to do with access based on
Yes.
existing network and breaking through, or is it more the person's willingness to go out?
Both of them, you have to go out and go get it, but you have to have people receptive to having you understand. We all can't look alike. We all didn't come from the same area. We all didn't come from privilege. So you don't understand that until you talk to someone. My wife is from New York. And so that even when you look at Richmond, the haves and the have-nots a lot of times don't interact. Where would they? Unless the haves come into the city and interact with the people who don't have, they never interact. When we get people like in New York, everybody's jammed in there together. You're forced to. So you have access to the game changers. You have access to people, and they have to be willing to open a door for new blood and new thinking to give people opportunities. A lot of time we're hoarding the information of people that you know. You got to open it up because there's power in numbers.
Yeah, so just an example of the connection points there. So I met Conrad through Richmond First, where Jim and Suzanne had invited me to go and speak, where I met Eileen Davis, and Conrad said, hey, I want to bring Antonio over. I said, beautiful, right? Skechers, right?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So these are the sort of connection points that happen. Some of it's organic, but some of it is intentional because you had to be willing to pick up the phone or take the call and help kind of grease the wheels. Jim.
Yes.
The other message I hear is perseverance. Perseverance. You've got to be a bulldog
Yeah.
in a polite way, but you have to, stay on point, keep turning over the rocks. You never know what's underneath.
That's true. So when people wonder about perseverance, so my grandson, people play these video games. If you don't think people are persevering, they keep trying. The things that they want to do a lot of times are not fun things. And I say, you got to do the crap you got to do to get to the point where you're doing what you want to do. 10 years ago, telling me I'd be doing this, I'm like, you're out of your mind. I'm a reluctant salesman. I really don't like a lot of people. I'm that introverted guy.
I remember when you first came,
Yeah,
you were a little standoffish.
this is the evolution of my.
That was a joke. No one laughed, but that was a joke.
Yeah. This is my wife, 43 years talking to me every day because she comes from one of 8 kids. So I didn't know how to deal with interacting with a bunch of people.
When we first met, was it CW or?
So I came here with the Henrico Citizen because I had met Tom Lapis and he wanted to do digital. Plus, we had kind of worn ourselves out living in a college town. Like, this is killing us because you're getting killed on good times. And so we're like, hey, we got to mature up. We're 50 years old. We got to leave here. So he came here, I was there for about almost a year, and CW came and we're like, we're not exactly sure what you do. My motto was, if you buy from me advertising, who is somebody or nonprofit that you care about? I'll go hook them up. And then I go into the office and then I get ripped to shreds at CW. Because they're like, hey, Mike, you know, we're for a profitable business, you know, all this giving stuff away.
Mm,
And so that's how I ended up at CW. And the bad part about that was CW Richmond, NBC 12 are owned by the same company. They're the number one, NBC 12 is number one station, CW is number 5 station. It's like living in a house with family members who got money. And here you are, and they're looking at you every day like, because we were selling ACC football and DC United Soccer, and they had the Olympics and the Super Bowl.
okay, gotcha, all right, next.